Hey, it's Charles Folkart on September the 24th, 2017. I welcome all of you and thank you for supporting this channel. A supporter of this channel up in Canada, Ryan, he suggested I do a video on the three Stooges. And you remember them if you're my age or close to it, Larry, Moe, and Curly Joe. Well, he suggested I do an update on that, which is what I'm going to do here. And another supporter asked me about hydroponics in the winter indoor. I'm going to address that here also. I think I talk about North Korea later and also what they're doing in Asia about the fake money that they have to take in exchange for real goods and services. Let's move on to the three Stooges, shall we? And of course, the three Stooges, the new ones, is Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, and Albert Einstein. Now, all three of these men and their ideas were propped up by the Esau-Edomite controlled mass media and the education system. And they just promoted all three of these men, and they're all of the same tribe, Esau Edomites. And every one of their ideas is male cow dung. Karl Marx, it's obvious that communism doesn't work. Socialism, call it what you want, doesn't work. The Soviet Union, which was propped up by the United States from early 1900s, after the quote Russian Revolution, which was an Esau-Edomite revolution, it made it all the way to 1990s. But if you read the books by Anthony Sutton and listen to Estes Mullins, you'll know that the Soviet Union was propped up as a fake enemy. One of the books I read back in the 80s was called The Best Enemy Money Can Buy. I think that was by Anthony Sutton. Now, I don't know as much about Freud as I do Karl Marx, but Sigmund Freud's, his idea is all about sex, and the father wants to have sex with the daughter, and the son wants to have sex with them. And I forget, there was some kind of a complex, I forget, there's so much material now on my hard drive that I can't remember all this stuff. But Freud, as far as I can tell, has pretty much been his ideas and his philosophy, his psychoanalytical method has been pretty much found to be junk. Like I say, male cow dung. Then we got Al Einstein, Tesla, who was a real genius. And there's a quote out there that says, even Einstein, when asked, how does it feel to be the most intelligent man or the smartest man in the world, he says, I don't know, why don't you go ask Tesla? Okay, Tesla called Einstein a chalkboard, or he came up with the theory of gravity on a chalkboard. And that's what they do. They put the big complicated numbers and the calculus and the physics on the blackboard, and they put Einstein in front, and they just hit you with that image over and over and over and over again, that Einstein's a friggin' genius. And guess what? Einstein was a friggin' idiot. He was a patent clerk and probably got a lot of his ideas out of that patent office. Alrighty. So here we got this, like I mentioned many times, there's people out there that live in this illusionary world that is created for them by the Esau-Edomite controlled media. And that's exactly what they're doing now with North Korea. They have to justify the presence of almost 100,000 troops. There's at least 68,000 troops there that they admit to, and you throw in all the other stuff. We're close to 100,000 personnel related to war there in South Korea and Japan, and we have to have a boogeyman, otherwise there's no reason to be there. That's what they're doing with North Korea. Anyway, let me pause it. I have another subject to address. Hold on. One of the Barry Whites, and there's two of them there, I guess, asked me about indoor gardening. And I'm not doing indoor gardening because where I am located right now, or my situation will not allow me to indoor garden. But this is pictures of my outdoor hydroponics last spring, and I wanted to show you how well this works. And this is 3 different kinds of lettuce. This is tomatoes. I found that the smaller cherry type tomatoes grow pretty good, at least in my locale, which was in upper northwest Montana. We have a very short season. And then here's the root of a plant. You can see how extensive the root system gets, and that's a broader view. There's the lettuce, and here's the tomatoes. That, I think, there is kale. You can see these plants are growing all the way up. That's an up close shot, and the food tastes very, very good. I didn't realize it, but tomatoes. Oh, here's a chemical trail that John Tester wants me to think that's just a contrail. Charles, you can go back to sleep. Anyway, that was caught offside my house. You know what? I didn't realize, but a good romaine lettuce plant especially will give off a milk in their inside the what do you call that? The very middle of the, not out on the outer leaves, but the inside core or the stalk of the plant will give out a milk. And so indoor plant, you could do this indoors too. It'll mean you need lights, and I had that all set up, and I did grow lettuce in the winter under the light, so it does work indoors also. So I wanted to reply to Barry White. And I ran across this little bag here from Shinhan Bank when I worked and lived in Korea, in South Korea. And I just wanted to mention to you that in South Korea you can open up a account that will hold your funds in gold. It's called the Gold Rich account. And then also, if you want to trade or you want to buy the gold, have it in your hand, you can buy the gold there at the banks in South Korea. There's at least one bank, Shinhan Bank, that was allowing you to open an account, hold your funds in gold with the price of gold, and also to buy the physical gold if you so wanted to. Now contrast that here with the United States, where Bernanke, and I'm not going to take the time to find the video where Ron Paul asked him if gold is money, and he says no. He's lying, folks. That's what they do. They get paid to lie to you to create the illusion that they want you to believe in, and that is that you don't want gold. Gold is, gold and silver, don't worry about it. And they're suppressing the price of both the gold and silver on the paper markets in Chicago and London and elsewhere. But, and the reason I bring this up, the Asians are Indians, Chinese, Koreans, and others in Asia are buying their gold. And there's going to come a time here, and I think it's going to come pretty soon, when the Federal Reserve note, the paper money that we Americans use, because remember, gold is not money. Lincoln took us off of the gold standard in 1971, and we had an inflation rate all the way up to 1980, which I remember because I was going to college and my classes were in economics. Plus, I was working my way through college as a handyman. And I remember going out in 1976, 77 with money in my hand from a job, thinking to myself, if I need something, I should buy it now because it's just going to be more expensive later. So I would go out and buy whatever I thought I was going to need in the next few weeks or in the next short period of time. That increased the velocity of money in the economy because everybody was getting rid of their fiat currency, their Federal Reserve notes. And so what's happening in the rest of the world outside of the United States is they're getting rid of their Federal Reserve notes because the United States is able to pay for their wars all over the world and build a $1 billion embassy in Iraq and a $1 billion embassy in London. Why do you need an embassy in these countries worth that much money when we could be building whatever happened to America first, Mr. Trump? Mr. Trump, or let's make America great again. I'm confusing Charles Lindbergh's and his era in World War II was America first, and that's another subject for another video. But I want to end here. We're headed for the rejection. We're headed for the effect that the rejection of the Federal Reserve note, the petrodollar as they like to call it, is being rejected by the rest of the world. They don't want to hold American money anymore, the Federal Reserve note, the U.S. currency, so they're unloading it and they're buying gold. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel, and may the grace of God, the creator of the gold and silver, the real money that you actually have to work for to get it out of the ground and to put it into circulation, the creator of real gold, of real money, may his grace be upon us all, for we certainly need it. See ya.